When a man stops contacting a woman, the reaction is often more powerful than he expects. Most men think silence will make her forget, punish her, or give them control. In reality, it triggers reflection, curiosity, and sometimes even longing. Women respond to absence in ways that reveal how they truly feel, how invested they are, and whether the connection mattered to them. The moment a man steps back, the dynamic shifts. She is no longer responding to constant attention, explanations, or emotional availability. She is left with her own thoughts and feelings, free to process them without pressure. This is where real behavior surfaces. Women begin to evaluate what she misses, what she values, and how she actually feels about the man. Most men fail to understand that no contact is not about silence as a weapon. It's about creating space for natural reflection and desire to emerge. Chasing or explaining only interrupts this process, while consistent silence paired with emotional composure allows her to come to conclusions on her own. In this video, you will learn what happens inside a woman's mind and emotions when you stop reaching out. You'll see how curiosity, respect, and attraction often return automatically. You'll understand why women who seem distant suddenly reach out, and why some disappear because they weren't invested to begin with. If you've ever wondered why some women reappear after silence, or why others don't, the answers are not random. There are predictable psychological patterns at play. Knowing them gives a man clarity, confidence, and control over his own energy while allowing nature to handle her response. 1. She starts reflecting on you. The first thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is reflection. When your constant presence, messages, and calls disappear, she suddenly has space to think without distraction. Most men underestimate how much mental energy women invest in relationships, even when they act distant. The absence forces her to replay interactions, conversations, and moments in her mind. She remembers your humor, your confidence, the way you made her feel safe, yet intrigued. Reflection also includes evaluating her own behavior. She considers if she invested enough, if she treated you well, or if she took your attention for granted. That self-reflection often surprises women because they are not used to having the space to think about their own choices without immediate feedback from the man. It can lead to clarity about what she truly values in you and in the connection itself. The longer the absence, the deeper the reflection. She begins to separate temporary frustration or distractions from the genuine feelings she had for you. Memory plays a huge role in this process. Without constant communication, her mind highlights the positive interactions more than the negative ones. She starts to notice patterns of support, emotional stability, and confidence you displayed that may have been overlooked. Reflection is natural, subconscious, and emotional. It is not about manipulation. It is about allowing her mind to process the dynamic independently. Men often fail here by breaking silence too soon. Every message, every call, interrupts her reflection and prevents her from reaching conclusions on her own. True impact comes when you remain steady, focused on yourself, and allow her the mental space to assess the value of the relationship without interference. Reflection often triggers emotional longing. As she considers what she misses, curiosity and desire grow. She may start to wonder about your life without her, your routines, and your experiences. That curiosity is a subtle but powerful pull that brings her closer mentally and eventually emotionally. This is the stage where no contact begins to work its magic. You are not controlling her feelings. You are allowing them to surface naturally. She begins to recognize the moments that mattered, the energy you brought, and the consistency you demonstrated. By stepping back, you create the conditions for her to re-engage on her own terms, and reflection is the first step in that process. 2. She feels your absence. The second thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is feel your absence. When you disappear from her daily life, she starts to notice what is missing. It's not just your words or attention, it's your energy, your presence, and the way you influenced her mood and sense of stability. Absence highlights value naturally, because humans assign importance to what is scarce. Most men underestimate how powerful this is. When attention is constant, it becomes expected and taken for granted. When it stops, even briefly, she begins to realize how much she relied on it, consciously or unconsciously. Feeling absence triggers emotional awareness. She recalls moments of connection, shared laughter, and meaningful interactions. Those memories feel more significant because they are no longer diluted by constant availability. The void also creates curiosity. She wonders what you are doing, who you are spending time with, and how your life looks without her. That curiosity is part of the emotional pull that encourages re-engagement. Absence also changes how she perceives your independence. When you are not immediately available, she sees that your life continues regardless of her presence. This signals strength, stability, and self-sufficiency, qualities that attract women naturally. Many men fail because they break silence too quickly or respond to imagined pressure. Every early message reduces the impact of absence. True effect comes from maintaining calm, focusing on your own priorities, and letting her experience the gap you created. During this phase, ego and emotional defenses may soften. She may start questioning her own behavior and how she contributed to the dynamic. That internal evaluation often leads to humility, reflection, and sometimes longing. Feeling your absence is not about punishment. It is about giving her space to recognize your value and the emotional energy you bring. The more consistent and patient you are in maintaining this absence, the stronger her awareness and internal pull become. Absence is a subtle but powerful tool that changes perception, increases attraction, and primes her to re-engage. When she truly feels what she is missing, she begins moving mentally and emotionally toward you, even if she doesn't reach out immediately. 3. Curiosity kicks. In the third thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is experience curiosity. When your attention disappears, her mind naturally begins to wonder about you. She questions what you are doing, how your life is unfolding, and who you are spending time with. Curiosity is powerful because it engages her thoughts and emotions simultaneously. Most men underestimate this effect. They think she will forget or move on, but the opposite usually happens. Absence combined with prior emotional connection makes her focus more intensely on what she is missing. She may begin to replay interactions, conversations, and shared experiences in her mind, noticing details she overlooked before. That reflection fuels curiosity further, because she starts imagining what her life would feel like if you were still actively present. Curiosity is subtle but highly motivating. It prompts mental engagement without pressure. Women do not consciously realize it, but their thoughts are occupied with scenarios involving you. This internal pull can trigger self-generated desire, making her more likely to reach out organically. Curiosity is strengthened when a man maintains independence during no contact. She notices that your life continues, that you have your own routines, goals, and social circles. This signals that you are not emotionally dependent on her attention, which paradoxically increases her interest. Most men fail to leverage curiosity because they respond too quickly or over-communicate. Every message or call reduces the unknown and diminishes the mental space she needs to reflect. Allowing silence while living fully sends a powerful unspoken signal that you are confident, self-reliant, and grounded. Curiosity also creates anticipation. She begins to look forward to reconnecting, wondering what it will feel like to interact with you again. The mind builds up the return interaction as a positive event, heightening emotional investment. It is important to understand that curiosity is not manipulation. It is a natural response to absence combined with emotional impact. By stopping contact, you allow her own mind to create intrigue, reflection, and emotional pull. This stage often precedes direct action. Some women will reach out after a period of curiosity. Others will adjust their behavior subtly to see if your absence is real. Either way, the dynamic has shifted. You are no longer chasing or over-explaining. You are letting internal processes work naturally. Curiosity is the bridge between absence and emotional re-engagement, and when leveraged correctly, it leads women back without forcing any response. 4. She tests your consistency. The fourth thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is test your consistency. Women are highly sensitive to patterns of behavior, and your silence creates a new pattern she needs to understand. She may test to see if your absence is genuine, or if it's temporary and will be broken at the slightest provocation. These tests are rarely conscious. They are her way of evaluating whether you are steady, reliable, and emotionally grounded. Consistency matters because it signals emotional strength. When a man does not chase, overreact, or bend under pressure, she begins to realize that his life is not dependent on her responses. That realization shifts the dynamic and reduces attempts to control or manipulate interactions. Tests can be subtle. She might increase social media activity, post more frequently, or reach out indirectly through mutual friends to gauge your reaction. She might engage in behavior that previously triggered responses to see if those patterns still exist. A man who maintains composure, independence, and calm during these moments communicates stability and self-respect. His reactions, or lack thereof, speak louder than words. Many men fail at this stage because they misinterpret tests as attacks or rejections. They respond emotionally, explaining themselves, apologizing, or chasing attention. Each reaction reinforces the old dynamic and diminishes the effect of absence. True consistency is quiet. It does not involve explanations or justifications. It involves maintaining focus on your own life while keeping boundaries intact. When she observes unwavering consistency, her perception shifts. She begins to respect your self-possession and recognizes that the connection is not easily manipulated. Ego softens because the dynamic no longer rewards posturing or testing. She may begin to feel subtle longing as she recognizes that she cannot provoke emotional reactions at will. Consistency also demonstrates reliability. She sees that your silence is intentional, not impulsive, and that you are emotionally autonomous. This signals value without confrontation. Women are drawn to men who are predictable in their core principles, yet independent in their actions. This phase often sets the stage for re-engagement. She starts to reflect on what she misses, wonders about your life, and reassesses her own behavior. The internal shift happens quietly, without pressure, making any eventual reconnection genuine rather than forced. Maintaining consistency during no contact is a demonstration of strength, emotional intelligence, and patience. It shows that you are not reliant on her validation for your stability, and that creates a magnetic effect that naturally draws women back when they are ready to engage. 5. She reassesses her feelings. The fifth thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is reassess her feelings. Silence creates a mental and emotional pause that allows her to examine her true emotions without interference. Most women are constantly navigating social cues, attention, and reactions from men. When those cues disappear, she is left alone with her thoughts, and her mind begins to sort through what she actually feels about you. Reassessment often begins with nostalgia. She recalls moments of connection, shared laughter, and emotional support. Those memories take on more weight because they are no longer diluted by constant presence. She begins to compare how interactions felt when you were present versus absent. This process highlights your emotional value and the unique qualities you brought to the relationship. During reassessment, she also evaluates her own behavior. She may realize she underappreciated your attention, took your efforts for granted, or failed to reciprocate adequately. Ego and pride may soften because she recognizes the imbalance and her part in it. This self-awareness is critical to genuine reconnection because it shifts her from reactive behavior to conscious choice. Some women may experience mixed emotions during this phase: frustration at your absence, longing for connection, and curiosity about your life. These conflicting feelings are normal and signal that your silence has triggered meaningful reflection. Men often misinterpret this period as indifference or loss of interest, but in reality, it is a critical stage where emotional engagement is being recalibrated. Reassessment also increases emotional desire. As she revisits your past interactions, she begins to notice the consistency, stability, and confidence you demonstrated. These qualities are more visible in hindsight and contribute to renewed attraction. She starts to imagine the value of reconnecting with you, not out of obligation, but because she recognizes what she misses. Many men fail because they break no contact too early. Every message or attempt to re-engage interrupts her reassessment process and prevents authentic reflection. Patience and consistency are essential. By maintaining silence while living fully and demonstrating self-respect, you allow her to complete this internal evaluation naturally. Ultimately, reassessment is the phase where a woman decides, consciously or unconsciously, how she wants to move forward. She measures her emotions against the absence she feels and the qualities you embody. The results of this process often determine whether she reaches out, adjusts her behavior, or deepens interest in reconnecting. Reassessment is not about manipulation. It is about giving space for natural emotional clarity to emerge. When done correctly, this stage sets the foundation for renewed attraction, respect, and genuine engagement. 6. She feels longing. The sixth thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is feel longing. After reflection, noticing your absence, experiencing curiosity, testing your consistency, and reassessing her feelings, emotions begin to emerge more intensely. Longing is the natural result of realizing that someone important is no longer present. It is not forced or superficial. It comes from internal acknowledgement of your value and the impact you had on her life. Longing often starts subtly. She may catch herself thinking about small details, like conversations, shared moments, or the way you made her feel when you were confident, calm, and grounded. Those memories carry emotional weight, and in your absence, they gain significance. The longer the period of no contact, the more pronounced the longing becomes, because her mind and emotions have uninterrupted time to process and recognize what was meaningful. This feeling is often accompanied by curiosity about your life. She wonders who you are spending time with, what you are focused on, and how your energy is directed without her presence. That curiosity fuels emotional engagement and strengthens the internal pull toward reconnecting. Longing also softens defensive behaviors. Women who were previously aloof, distant, or ego-driven may become more emotionally open because absence creates space for vulnerability. She begins to realize that the connection had depth and that losing it is emotionally significant. Men frequently fail to leverage longing because they misunderstand its timing. Reaching out too soon interrupts the emotional buildup and may prevent her from fully recognizing her feelings. Patience, consistency, and living a full life while maintaining no contact allow longing to mature naturally. The emotional pull becomes stronger precisely because it arises organically rather than being prompted by messages, calls, or explanations. Longing is intensified by contrast. When she experiences the absence of your attention, energy, and presence, she starts to notice differences between you and others in her life. Those who cannot provide stability, consistency, and grounded confidence become less appealing. You, however, remain a figure of emotional balance, which increases attraction as she feels the void left by your absence. This stage often leads to subtle attempts to reconnect. She may reach out indirectly, engage more openly on social media, or test the boundaries you have set. Her actions are guided by genuine emotional recognition rather than pressure or obligation. Longing creates motivation for her to re-establish contact, but it must be allowed to develop naturally to have the strongest effect. Feeling longing is a powerful internal process. It signals that absence has worked to shift perception, clarify emotions, and increase desire. By stepping back, maintaining consistency, and focusing on your own life, you allow her longing to emerge authentically, setting the stage for meaningful reconnection when she decides to reach out. 7. She reaches out or adjusts. The seventh thing a woman does when you stop contacting her is either reach out or adjust her behavior toward you. After reflection, noticing your absence, experiencing curiosity, testing your consistency, reassessing feelings, and feeling longing, she naturally begins to act in response to the shift you created. This stage is where internal processing transforms into observable behavior. Some women will reach out directly. They may send a message, like a casual check-in, a comment on social media, or a seemingly neutral question. Others may approach indirectly, through mutual friends or shared activities, to gauge your engagement. These approaches are rarely random. They are responses to the internal pull built over days or weeks of no contact. When a woman reaches out, it is not to manipulate or test. It is a genuine signal that your absence has made her aware of your value and stirred authentic interest. Other women may not reach out immediately, but will adjust their behavior around you if interaction resumes. They become more attentive, cooperative, and emotionally present. They may engage more meaningfully in conversation, respect your boundaries, or show appreciation for your consistency and independence. Adjustments like these signal recognition of the dynamic shift you created. Ego softens, defensive posturing decreases, and authentic engagement increases. Men often misinterpret these actions if they are not patient or emotionally grounded. Responding too quickly, overanalyzing, or chasing attention undermines the natural process. The key is to maintain composure and meet her engagement with calm alignment, not overreaction. This preserves the effect of no contact and demonstrates ongoing self-respect. This phase also reinforces the man's value. When she reaches out or adjusts, it confirms that your absence had a meaningful impact. Her behavior reflects the recognition that your presence is significant, that your standards matter, and that emotional and behavioral consistency is attractive. It is important to note that not every woman will reach out immediately. Some may take longer to process feelings or may have external distractions. The absence works regardless because it triggers internal reflection and emotional recalibration, which naturally leads to stronger, more genuine engagement when she is ready. By the time she reaches out or adjusts, the dynamic has shifted in your favor. She is no longer in control of your energy. Instead, she is responding to the framework you established through patience, independence, and consistency. This stage is the culmination of the no-contact process, where internal realization manifests externally, creating opportunity for renewed connection, mutual respect, and genuine attraction. This final step proves that no contact is not about manipulation, but about creating the space for natural psychological and emotional processes to work in your favor, allowing women to recognize your value on their own terms. Stopping contact is one of the most powerful tools a man can use in modern dating, not because it punishes or manipulates, but because it allows a woman's true feelings to surface. When you step back, she reflects on you, feels your absence, becomes curious, tests your consistency, reassesses her emotions, experiences longing, and finally reaches out or adjusts her behavior. Each stage is natural, predictable, and rooted in human psychology. The key for men is patience, emotional composure, and self-respect. Reacting too quickly, Chasing attention or over-explaining undermines the process. When you maintain boundaries, live fully, and stay consistent, the dynamic shifts without a single confrontation. You allow her internal processes to determine her response, which creates genuine attraction and respect. No contact works because it restores balance, repositions you as independent and confident, and highlights your value through absence rather than effort. Women respond to presence and absence, emotional steadiness, and the integrity of a man who does not chase validation. Understanding this process empowers men to act intentionally rather than reactively. It teaches that attraction is not about constant effort, persuasion, or attention. It is about creating space for reflection, emotional engagement, and genuine desire. By stepping back strategically, you allow the connection to recalibrate naturally, fostering renewed interest and deeper respect. When applied correctly, stopping contact is not a game or manipulation. It is a demonstration of self-worth, calm leadership, and emotional intelligence. It creates conditions for women to recognize your value, rethink their behavior, and re-engage authentically, resulting in stronger, more balanced relationships.